Well, good morning. So, as you can see, I've got a new little posy of flowers here, a new setup. And I gathered a few things that I thought I could use. This morning I just found a copybook with this colour and I thought, look, I could use that for those little trumpety flowers. I might just peel the back off to make it quite thin. I say that as though it's a simple thing and it's not here. Oh, yeah, it is. There, it's just the direction. Yeah, I mean, you mightn't get it all off, but it's just to make it a thinner piece. I don't really so much like having a hard edge like that at the moment anyway, unless I could make the hard edge at the bottom. Yeah, I've just got a glue stick here that I can use to stick it on. There's a little lump sticking out of it there. And we can always put on a bit more if it needs more. And I think I've got my chalks and things so I can colour it so that it I can use the colours in the chalk pastels. I seem to be quite pernickety about it, don't I? But I think there's something about the direction of it I want to get. I didn't like that it was kind of curving because it seems to me like it's shooting outwards, that flower. Might need to use some PVA glue really. No, that's okay. Alright. And I did find some yellow as well, but I'm not sure if I'll use that. I think I might keep that for another time. We'll see. It's a buttercup yellow more than the astringent kind of. Maybe that one is yellow, lemon yellow enough for this. And I don't know. I thought I might use this, but I'm not sure anymore for the pot. I just put on the other pink section. Let's see if I can peel the back off this as well. And then it's just a little bit below and to the right of that one. And then there's some green, of course. I'm not sure now how I do the green. Oh look, there's a little bit. I could use a touch of this, and I could also use the pastels and things, I guess. There was a surprise now, I didn't expect there to be any. I just bought in the bare minimum of collage because I thought I was kind of not wanting to have a huge bag to choose from, you know. So I'm glad there was a couple of little bits of green in there I could use. Sorry, there's some messy paint at the bottom of that. It doesn't matter. There's even a little touch of pink in this one. That might work there. It's one of those. Sorry, now I feel like my hand is the whole time covering what I'm doing. It's one of these things that I just want to kind of give an approximate feel of it or something like that. I don't seem to be so worried about exactitude here, which is a nice feeling. Let me just tear up a few bits of this and see if it would work for those starry flowers. Sometimes I make things really rough, but then you can kind of rein it in with ink and a stick after or something to clarify it, like maybe the oil pastel I could use later on. Anyway, something like that will be okay there. And I probably do want to bring some green in. And I think I'm happier with oil pastel than chalk pastel greens because I don't want to. I've got these. Get my glasses. They're on my head. with the chalk pastel, I sometimes find that it's hard to, that's quite a good colour, isn't it? With the chalk pastel, it's sometimes a bit tricky to work over it with the ink, and I have ink and a stick that I want to use today as well. So I think those two together are not bad for describing the green that I'm seeing here. That sits below that flower and just surrounds this pink flower really, and in between those starry yellows, and it heads over there. I'm just twirling it as I draw, just so that I'm not getting too far on my line. And I think I'll include some of the yellow, because certainly over here it's really quite yellowish, that green. It's got a yellowish hint to it. Yeah, maybe there's even a touch of white in it as well, but for now I'll just stick with the yellow and the green. And it maybe needs to be darker down there as well. But I think we're getting on all right. I think it'll be okay. Just the touches of yellow into that green. And then there's spillage over here of that flower as well. I just noticed that there's another little yellow flower sitting over here. I don't know what they're called, those starry flowers, but they're really lovely. Just going to see if I've got a brighter yellow that will maybe cover better. Yeah, I think, well, no, this might be chalk. No, it's not, but it's not really bright enough. It's not yellow. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard for yellow to stand out really over the brown. So I'll just put on some touches of white maybe in places, and see if then the yellow might sit on top of the white. Even just having touches of white seems to be okay to create that sense of bright starry yellow. It's okay for now anyway. And then I suppose there could be some bit more happen in those flowers. I wonder what the some bit more might be actually. I don't have any paint with me now. So it needs really just to be oil pastel or chalk pastel to continue explaining the flowers. And they're lovely bright flowers. I suppose if I had a touch of fluorescent or neon pink, I might include it but I didn't bring that out. I have some in the studio, but I kind of feel like I sometimes get trigger happy with those neon colours, and it's good to try and see if I can make it without resorting to that. Yeah, so just a little bit more there. And trying to consider what to do with the pot. And I do have this paper that's quite a good colour. Even if I try it on the light side of the pot, maybe. I think I kind of like it with a bit of pattern on it too. Yeah, maybe I can just pull this part off so that it goes kind of about there. Well, I'm going to bring it back for my own purposes. And then there's a bit that curves around for the back of the pot. And then might include that little touch there. And another one around the back there. But I think that's actually better with some flat material doing it. Okay. Yeah, I think I want that there. I want some sort of a nod to the little pot anyway. There we go. And what else have we got? I mean, I could always finish up with some. I could always finish up with some of that, some of the chalk pastel, but I'm still reluctant to use any at the moment. Just going to see what colour this is. Sometimes it's hard to tell what the colours are. That might be okay to describe the shadow side of the pot here, where it meets the table, just to give some bit of grounding to it. And then maybe the dark blue in here will work for a shadow where the pot stops and the greenery begins. It's quite dark there. There's a little flash of yellow right in the middle of that flower. I think it might need a touch of collage actually. I have just a tiny little bit of lemon yellow left in this one. I hope my fingers haven't made it too dirty now. Yeah, I know it's a bit funny looking, but I think that's okay. Might even be a little triangle of this that would help to describe this sticking up light one on this flower. Little triangles seem to be, little triangles shooting out might work to describe the starry yellow flower there. There's maybe one shooting off this one actually. Okay. And now what I think I might do is, let me see. I might connect the pot. If I can find a light grey colour, and this isn't light grey, but it's a darker grey, but I kind of like the colour of it for here. I was going to say if I could find a light grey colour that I could blend there with, blend one side of the pot with the other. I don't know if I want to do that actually. Could maybe just put a bit of light on this side and a bit of light on the rim there. And there's some light across here too where the rim heads back. I don't know if it needs to be bright white though. Just to indicate the edge of the pot at the back there. I think I'm becoming a bit too literal now in a drawing that is clearly not a literal drawing. I don't want to give too many parameters to it. I think I could always indicate with one of these grey-green leaves. More muted green for this one, sticking up here. I know it doesn't look green at all, but it is that, that kind of, those leaves there. And I think it subdues that colour a little bit. I'll put another touch down there. Just where it's gone very yellow, Okay. Do you know what I've got now is this little bit of tissue paper collage. That might be the thing that may merge the two. Yeah, I can leave that. Okay, and now I'm going to use some of this Indian ink. I don't know how dilute it is, but I don't think it should be that dark. Well, it's a thin line anyway, so even although it is quite dark, I don't think it matters that much. I just want to see if there are areas that I can clarify. I think possibly I want to do something to describe the nature of the flower a little bit more clearly. It would be quite nice here to have a bright pink ink to describe how the light is falling and making these petals translucent and papery pink. But in the absence of that, I'm just wanting to capture the kind of elegance that I see of that in the flower. And some other touches where I feel that there could be a little bit more clarity. And usually the ink flows freely enough over the oil pastel. It takes a bit of patience, but it's not too bad. It doesn't absorb it like the chalk pastels do. But after the ink, I might see if I can find a colour in the chalk pastels that'll work for maybe the pink or the yellow flowers as a final touch. Yeah, and I guess I could do a bit of drawing in this flower as well. Yeah, the ink isn't flowing as freely as I thought it would. Just had to load it up a bit more there. I think she's sensing that it's her time for exercise for that lady. Oh no, that came out a big blob, didn't it? It's the thing when you're using a stick that you can't direct things too much, which is, I think it's fine with me. That's kind of nice there. I'm going to stick it on there. Just a little touch of something, a bit flighty. It's the thing with ink, yeah, you can't direct it so much, and it's also the reason I like using it, because you can't direct it so much. It kind of gives it, sorry for banging the iPad. Now I'm going to open these up. Yeah, the ink gives it a certain kind of element of chance coming in, and you want to encourage chance to be part of your process, I reckon. So I was thinking if I was to find something really bright here, that would be good. And that's not a bad colour, is it? Just with it being a new material, it might bring in something else, but it's not going to play ball, is it? Unless maybe I could try and let some fall onto it, grating it with my thumb. Don't know what benefit that is really, but the thing I could do with that now might be to use a little bit of white oil pastel and see if that would make it something of the colour I'm after. And of course it's mixing with the black ink as well now, so I'm making a bit of a dog's dinner of that. Let's see what else we've got. Back to the oil pastel again here. And I do still have a little touch of that paper. So in the end, I just stick on the paper again, because that's a nice bright petal there. What else have I got here now? Maybe there's a yellow. There's a bright yellow. It's satisfying, nice and acidy, lemony yellow. It's making those starry bits shine a little. Okay, and there's this nice grey colour as well. It's like a kind of a purplish grey. I quite like it. And then there's this thinner grey stick. Could capture the curve of the pot a little bit more there. I don't want to lose the brightness of that lovely flower though. and the significance of it in the midst of all of this. It's those flowers were the kind of brightest bits I wanted to explain. There's kind of the reason for being drawn to this, like, it's those flowers. I don't really have any of that bright acidy pink colour. The best I can get, I think, is this light pink. Or maybe the light purple might work. You know, they're kind of powdery shades, really, rather than the more acidy colour that I see in the flowers. Anyway, and I'll just try for a final go at it. I'll try that pink. I'm probably just reducing the volume of the colour rather than increasing it there. So I'll just stop and I'll consider, is there one last spot where I could put this lovely bright sliver of pink again to regain some of that clarity? And I think I'll put that there. With a touch of the pink oil pastel where it's white, because I don't want it to be a white edge there. And I might stick it down so it's really sticking on. Okay, I don't mind this edge coming up, actually. It was just there. I wanted it to be flush with the surface. I kind of like if there's bits coming up, if it's to explain the petal in relief or something like that. I could do a touch of charcoal or something to do the shadow so that it's got a ground on the table. It's rooted onto something. This little pot. And I'd say I'll stop there then and take that lady out for a wander. Yeah. Okay, so there we have it. That's the bundle of flowers. And they're the lovely flowers that I was working from. You can see them. And here I am. Good morning. And maybe you could find something that you can play about with and just, gather loads of different things together and just have a bit of play. It's a really good start to the day. It's a very shaky table. It's a good start to the day to just have that idea of, how could I make this work now? And look around you and see, is there something that I can use in the recycling box even to work on? You could even just take out something from, the back of a cereal box or whatever and start on that. But maybe have something in your heart that you love, like that pink flower was singing to me. It's one that fell off the pot in the front, and I was sitting on the windowsill in the kitchen for a while, and I popped it into that pot, and it was just in a glass to keep it, but it's been flowering for ages, and I thought I'll see about drawing that. So I put it in here last night before I went to bed, and then it was an easy enough transition to just, after I did a bit of yoga there, I turned the camera around and thought I can do something on that now. So the stuff was ready for me. And this morning I found that pink copybook. So that was that kind of clinched the deal then. All right, lovely to talk to you, and thanks very much for joining in. See ya.